Sweat Equity Podcast, the number one comedy business podcast
Give me money.
in the world.
Called into question on this episode, whatever.
Our guest, Alex Levin,
Sniff that right out.
yeah, that Levin bread hit hard. Some dough.
It's not unleavened.
Unleavened bread, whatever. If you want to check that video out, we're big time on Vimeo. Big time. Vimeo.
Yeah.
Remember that platform? Huge on there.
Yeah, I remember.
You can go watch the video, or we're putting on YouTube a little bit later after it comes out on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio Podcast. Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Zupyak. The first search optimized AI writer. What is Zupyak? It's a very simplified content writer. I've been using it to crush out blog posts for clients, for my own business, for my own website.
What's up, Yak?
Zupyak. And guess what? You want to get the hookup? Holler if you hear me. Well, you get a promo code discount if you put in SWEAT, SWEAT, like Sweat Equity.
Yeah.
Like Keith Sweat.
Yeah.
They were so enthralled with their podcast, they wanted to be a sponsor.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a BFF of the show, subscribe to the podcast.
You wrote Hottie Toddy in the fucking notes. Are you kidding me?
That's been there I have to, or I'll forget. If you want to be our BFFs,
Sorry.
subscribe to the pod, rate a 5-star, give us a little short review, share the show, and let's get this not party started. Hottie Toddy!
It's called Sweat Equity.
Listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast.
Hey, sorry to keep you waiting.
It's all right. Although we were almost ready to pull the plug.
Yeah, we almost cut bait.
Sorry about that. Just trying to finish the last call of the day.
It's all good.
But you guys are great. Gotta get this going. So the no shirt, no sleeves, no sunglasses.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, we're down in Florida, and our future's so bright. Sometimes we gotta wear some sunglasses, as the rappers say.
Yeah.
We are rolling. We don't do any kind of pre-interview or anything. We try to be efficient for our guests. Alex, why don't you tell people where to find you, what you're about? Give them your intro so we don't have to butcher it.
Thank you for having me. So my name's Alex. I'm the founder and CEO of Regal, and we're a product for outbound contact centers. So we provide phone and SMS tools for outbound contact centers to reach customers, convert them, drive more revenue. If you want to email me, you can reach me at hello@regal.io or just go to regal.io and see more about Regal.
Wow, giving the email out.
Yeah, ballsy.
It's not.
What's your phone number?
It's not A11 at.
Oh, you do?
At every company, I've also always had a at, but I sort of give a at out publicly, so I know it goes to like a different inbox. So that's not my my day-to-day email.
Well, I want to hear about Regal and how you founded it and everything, and went to and lead go-to-market teams. Two questions we got to ask up front. One, have you listened to this podcast before?
I've not actually.
Okay, that's
Perfect.
normal.
Yes.
Yeah, people come into it blind. We're the number one comedy business podcast in the world.
Yeah. Maybe ever.
Or ever.
Probably ever.
Because there's.
So this is like when I go talk to my mother-in-law and she says she won a triathlon. And I need to ask her, was she the only one in her age group for the triathlon? Are you guys the only one in that category of comedy business?
Did you go to Harvard or something?
Oh, man, you're a genius, dude.
Like when my father says he got second and I go, were you playing tennis? Like, is it that kind of competition?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. There's no one else in the genre, but we are a category killer.
Yeah, most people don't like to dive in like that and call us out. They just let it slide. They assume
I was
there's
trying to be a
competition.
little bit nice.
No, I appreciate it. Good.
My mother-in-law.
look, man,
We love it.
he didn't get to where he is by not thinking like that.
Right.
The other question we ask everybody that comes on for the first time, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self? Ooh, yeah, that hits you hard. You didn't think you thought
life
we were just a bunch of Florida hicks coming on.
Yeah.
My founder is a Florida. My co-founder is a Florida hick. I shouldn't call her that. But you
Well, we're cut off T-shirts and everything. You think it hit you hard, man. It got you right in the soul. Yeah, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self? It can be anything, but you travel back in time. You're in a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure telephone booth. You come out, you grab yourself by the lapels.
I'm wondering, should we be putting a time limit on this question for people? Like, you only have 30 seconds.
No, I don't know. I'm vamping.
I'm
vamping so he can
formulating.
I'm vamping a little bit so he has a little time to
What do you think I was doing?
I know, but I remember being that age, and it's just you have whoever you are, you're in a phase where it's so awkward, and there's so much like pressure on yourself to go and do things, whatever it is, that you like in life, that you want to do in life. And I think, like, looking back, I wish I had known that sort of the process matters more than the result. As long as you're going and doing things and, learning about new stuff and making sort of new friends and moving forward, like, you're going to be fine. Like, this idea that, like, a door closes and my life is over is just not real. Like, one door closes, another one opens. Everything's fine. Like, I've made enormous mistakes in my life, but in the end of the day, like, you get through it and it's fine. And I think as a 13-year-old, like, you just don't have the perspective to understand that. And, as you get through life, you realize, like, yeah, it's not, everything's going to be okay.
So that's your answer to yourself? That's what you're going to tell yourself?
That's what I'm telling myself, yeah.
Good.
Well, you speak you. So I guess I would be like, that's a lot of information. I don't know what any of this means. What?
Coach is 13-year-old.
Well, were you entrepreneurial as a kid? What kind of family did you grow up in? What was the environment?
Yeah, I mean, my father ran a small business, so that definitely gave us a lot of perspective at the dinner table of sort of, buy low, sell high, like what actually happens day to day, like the ups and downs and hard parts about running a business. We had little things that we did on the side, but never started a real business for sure. And then I went to work after school for tech businesses. I think I understood pretty early that there was something magical in tech businesses where you can have a very small group of people building something, doing something that impacted a huge number of people. And that's the sort of leverage of technology, right? Instead of having to go and install Windows in every single home, which is hard to scale, by using technology, you can instantly go have impacts on lots of people. And so I've been through this now a couple different times. And then this is actually the first time my co-founder and I are the founders ourselves. And so while we've seen it and we've been sort of number two, we've never actually been in that seat. And that's a whole other experience.
Yeah, you were a product manager at Reuters, right? Also at Handy, which was acquired by Angie. Angie's List.
Handy the
no, not the Handy you use, not that app.
No, the food stores.
That's the Jack Shack.
The food
app.
Stores, like Handy.
How many bad Handy jokes have you heard?
So, yeah, part of this that's very amusing. So the founder of the company was Irish. And when he was getting married, he decided to do it in Ireland. So all of us flew over there for his wedding. And we're getting in the car and telling him where we're going and what we're doing. And the taxi cab driver was like, seriously? Like, that's the name of your company? So, like, first of all, like, they all, like, love that joke. But even worse is, the company became successful in the States. And anytime they wrote about him in Ireland, they'd always say, oh, so-and-so runs this big company that, does handy jobs and like independent jobs. Also, and so his grandmother was convinced, first of all, that he was either some sexual deviant or that he was like the world's greatest like tinkerer and handyman. She didn't understand he ran a technology business that like served all these customers. So like people had a very weird impression of him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I love the name has sticking power.
Yeah. Stick to the page power.
I feel like I wrote about 10 of these.
Oh, my brain hurts.
I wrote about 10 of these.
We bought a domain actually from a German company. Doesn't do what you think. They sell cell phones because in Germany a handy is a cell phone.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm going to use that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you went to Germany, which is probably sexual deviant capital, maybe Japan, I don't know.
Sure, yeah. Also comedy. They love jokes.
Oh, yeah, real good crowds.
Real just, boisterous.
I don't think they get sarcasm, from what I understand.
No, they don't.
No.
Robot people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that was a whole experience is going to buy that domain and sort of the process of going through that.
tell us about it. We got time.
Well, I mean, you can imagine, I guess, a little bit, right? So to your point, we at the time didn't own the domain and had to start figuring out who owned this, and like everyone assumed it was pornography or something like terrible, and it turned out it was the cell phone company, and we had to like explain to them why an American company that had nothing to do with cell phones and they thought was probably something to do with sexual deviance wanted to buy this because we did it anonymously. They didn't know what our company did, and so I think they were worried that they were going to sell it to somebody who's going to create a very strange website.
I'm curious, what was the price tag on it? Because the domain brokerage thing is kind of interesting to me. I feel like it's cyber squatting of sorts. A lot of people are doing.
For sure.
Yeah, it can be. I can neither confirm nor deny exactly the amount, but assume it's between $500,000 and $1 million for a domain like that.
Ooh.
So,
Damn.
like, take current brand name. So, I'll give you a funny story about our current brand name. So, Regal.com is owned by GM. It turns out, not Regal Cinemas. And GM
Buick Regal.
And I emailed them at some point and said, hey, we'd love to have this domain. No response. And I kept emailing them, no response. And finally, I called, every Friday for a couple of Fridays in a row, the head of their domain management group. And she happened to answer one day. And I said, hey, I'm Alex. I'm trying to inquire about this domain. She goes, oh, I know who you are. Turns out like GM had been like spinning up a whole group to think about whether they should allow us to buy this domain. They hadn't even responded to me. So it's a perfect big company thing where without responding to me, they went and did 6 people's worth of work for a couple months to decide whether to give it to us or not. Still under consideration, but we don't own the domain yet.
I like that tenacity, though. That's like, hey, every Friday I'm going to annoy this lady, no matter what. And
she was happy to talk to me. I just couldn't believe that they had done 6 people's of work without telling me.
Oh yeah, that's definitely like corporate red tape,
Right, bureaucratic all the way. Like, then nobody thought to email the man back. No.
And as your founder of, if anybody needs the real website, regal.io, just as a reminder.
We own regal.ai also. I hit redirect. So, if you're into that kind of thing.
Are you guys implementing AI, or are you just promoting an AI that isn't really AI like a lot of people are?
Mm-hmm. But what happened in our case is sort of funny. When we started the business, largely the principle was that we were using customers' sort of behavior to personalize a lot of the outreach for these large brands. So, we work with SoFi and AAA and your old employer. Based on what they know about you, they're trying to make sure that the outreach is relevant. They're having the right message. They're reaching the right channel, the right time. And we always knew that AI could accelerate that aim and, do it better. But it was quite difficult to use some of that technology. So we said, forget it. So now with the new large language models, it's actually accelerated the roadmap in that area significantly because all of a sudden we can do it quite easily. So I think companies that are trying to build something on AI from scratch, that's hard. But if you have an existing set of customers, an existing workflow, and you can say, how do I use AI to make it easier for them to do X, Y, and Z? That's great. So for our customers, it's just, how do we use AI to make their lives easier, reach more customers, so on and so forth.
So would it be fair to say, when you're founding a SaaS or tech company, I don't know what you would, I guess, declare it, you're filling a need. And the need really, from what I could gather just by kind of looking at it very quickly, was you're kind of bridging that gap between SMS and other outbound so that it's all in one journey for the outbound kind of marketing. Is that fair to say, with some automation?
Yeah, basically what happened is everyone who shops online now expects to have the rest of their life online. But in things like, healthcare, insurance, education, a website's not enough. And so the customer who's deciding what to do for their next 4 years of school needs to still talk with the brand. And the gap we fill is, how do we make sure that customer and that brand can have a good conversation about it and drive to an outcome? And so, we use SMS and phone mostly because those are the main channels. But, one day it could be holographic heads-up display. We care less what the channel is. We care about that connection happening in the right context and the right moment so that, that customer can feel like one in a million. When it was a local little school and you went in and they treated you very like a special person, you felt that. What's happened online a lot of the times is brands treat everybody the same and you don't feel that same level of personal service. I think we're trying to bring that level of personal service back, even at huge scale.
It's not the special person school that you were just talking about earlier where you get pulled out of class so you can read slower.
Yeah, I was off air. I was telling him.
It's different.
My daughter tested very well, and I was like, I always feel like the end of Forrest Gump, where he's like, he's not dumb like me. Like, thank God they got that. Thank God they got my ex-wife's academic prowess, because my ADD was off the chain. And then they would shuffle you if you're a bad reader at the school I went to. Shout out to St. Mary's Episcopal Day School. If you couldn't read well, which I couldn't, and I was by myself most of the time, in this accelerated reader program, and I remember the teacher would always get frustrated because I was so bad at reading out loud. So anyway,
it's weird they called it accelerated.
My son goes to Montessori. At the Montessori program, I've been told they don't teach reading. The kids teach themselves to read.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
What?
Yeah.
You show me that work?
As you say, your kids went there, or you went to a Montessori?
No, my kids are at a Montessori program, and they don't. In Montessori, they don't teach reading. They sort of it's a emergent property out of the primordial soup of kids playing with each other.
Yeah,
I would trust.
I could be talked either way on that. Part of me goes, "That's just lawless, and we need order."
Yeah, for sure.
But part of me is like, all the kids. That's what they do
when
when they're little.
Kids
anyway.
are going to Montessori. They're not. They're usually a little bit smarter, so maybe they figure it out. Or is that where the AI comes in?
Yeah, I don't know. I think what ends up happening is the parents end up teaching them, because that's
See,
right,
yeah, I don't like that. That's the whole, the whole point of schools.
I'm guessing you got talked into that by your.
Look, I love the Montessori program overall. I think this is just one area that they're
going to re-examine that in a few years, I bet.
Yeah.
Now, where are you zooming in from right now? What city are you in?
So right now, actually in Colorado. So we're based in New York. I grew up in New York. Our office is actually 2 blocks from the house I grew up in, which is crazy.
Really?
But my wife is from Colorado, and so I'm out here at the moment, it's beautiful out in Colorado.
Yeah, what part of New York, though, did you grow up in? That's interesting.
I grew up on 29th and Broadway.
So you're one of the rare success stories of Manhattan kids that grew up there. I feel like the read I get from a lot of New York comics is they tell me the kids that grow up in Manhattan are like drug addicts. They're doing coke by 8th grade a lot of the time or something.
Yeah, but I mean, they always have a golden parachute usually.
That's part of it.
There's anywhere, there's a huge variety. There are kids that took advantage of education and things that they had in life, and there are kids that didn't. But I think what's wild is literally our office looks into the apartment I grew up in.
That's wild.
Oh man.
What was the small business your dad had?
So a steel service center. So basically they bought steel from steel mills internationally. They look like huge toilet paper rolls. Have you ever seen how steel is shipped?
Mm-hmm.
But they're 10 feet high, and then they in the United States process it. So they cut it into certain pieces or color it or laminate it, and they'd sell it to manufacturers in the United States that would make anything from an auto part to decorative tin with that steel.
Sometimes it blows my mind, the supply chain stuff, how many times it goes through a different entity and that they sell it for this much and that everybody's still making money. Kind of crazy.
Well, I think about that with food waste.
Yeah.
When your kids waste, they're the biggest perpetrators of wasting food. And so it's I try to explain to them, it goes through all these things to get to here.
Right.
And if you can please eat it, because this is the thing that's actually good for you and not gushers,
right.
Even that has its
own.
So
what's shocking to me is on one side how incredible it is that they can give you fresh fruit any day of the year. But on the other side, why they can't make a tomato that tastes good 24, whatever hours a day.
Right, but you got it quick. You got there quick though.
How can they not there's a month period every year that just ended where tomatoes are incredible, and then the rest of the year tomatoes are terrible. So somebody just needs to solve this problem and make a real tomato every month of the year.
I agree. I hate tomatoes too. I don't like them on my burger. It gets in the way.
Why do you like tomatoes? He didn't say he hates tomatoes.
I'm saying 11 months out of the year, he's not a fan of them. And
yeah, but he's still buying them.
I don't know. Tomatoes a little overrated. If I'm doing a vegetable chart,
They won't be on it because they're not a vegetable.
Yeah.
Idiot.
So, if they're fruit, you're right. If they're fruit, pineapple's number one. If we're gonna let's do power ranking.
Okay, mine's mango. Mango's first for me.
Mango?
Yeah, hell yeah, mango.
Alex, what's your number one?
I'm on his side on this one.
Mango?
Hell yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. Mango's the best. What are you talking about? Have you had a good mango?
Have you had pineapple?
Yeah, pineapple's, it's up there. I like pineapple.
Number
but
one.
Not as much as mango.
Mango.
Pineapple does weird stuff to your taste buds and I don't know.
Oh, what? You mean it makes it flavorful, radiant?
Yeah, sure. Not as much as mango.
Mushrooms, high, good.
Yeah, right. I don't want to get mushroom high off of pineapples.
You didn't think we're gonna have to rank your favorite fruits, did you? This is what you went to Harvard for. So back to Regal. What's your why? What are you passionate about with this company? Because it's a way different experience when it's your baby.
Yeah. So my co-founder and I for years helped build consumer businesses online, and I think still we love that. Part of what we like about Regal is that we're still working with a lot of these big consumer businesses. So we get to sit down with new online banks and new online life insurers or schools or whatever and help them think through how are we going to create the best possible experience for customers online. And so certainly part of the fun is building a company. We'd like that aspect of building something new for sure. That's fun for us. But part of it is also getting to work with all these customers doing sort of cool new things online that no one's ever done. So that's very sort of enthralling every day. I think, a lot of founders, they sort of are focused on the wrong things. They care about, how many employees they have as a measure of success. That's not success, right? Success in the end is if you're able to do something really good for your customers and they derive value. And if the small team you have is a really powerful team and you're really having fun working with them. And so I think we've been very discerning about who we hire and careful about that. And it's part of what we've enjoyed the most.
Well, especially because you have the product side, you also have your own marketing side, which I assume you use your own product for. Maybe we should sign up and see what happens, see what automation journey we're on.
Okay.
But I feel like a lot of founders do that as a dick swinging contest. We got this amount of employees. It's
right.
To me, that feels like weight. That feels like a liability. That feels like something you have to actually care for them and make sure that they're paid. But it doesn't mean you're lean. It doesn't mean it's efficient.
Yeah. That's a terrible measure of success.
Yeah, look,
humans
for $20 billion with whatever 20 employees, so it can be done. Mm-hmm. But it's a very unusual business that's able to do that.
Yeah, it's really hard to find 20 unicorns, I guess, as they would call it. But my big question for this platform is, so there's a lot of text rules coming out, a lot of laws and stuff. How do you get what is it, DMC? Is that what it's called? Did I get it right? Is that the right acronym? There's too many acronyms.
You keep going and see what happens. How many letters can you say before you hit the right combination?
Well,
so there's a couple. There's the TCPA is the rules around making sure somebody gives you permission before you start sending them texts and calling them. And then there's the federal do not call lists, which you can put yourself on if you don't want somebody to cold call you. So there's a number of different rules. By and large, though, we're not anywhere close to the gray area. So there are companies historically that would basically buy your phone number, do all kinds of terrible things. We have not touched that business. We work with brands where customers are coming to them.
They come with intent, and they allow.
Take AAA as a good example, right? You're becoming a member of AAA because you see value in this.
It's pretty exclusive.
Now you're a member, though, right? There's millions of other members. And so, if every time you call, they don't remember who you are. If every time they call you, they go, oh, wait, let me read you the same script I gave everybody else. If every time they call you, you go, I told you last time I have a truck, not a sedan. If that keeps happening, you as a customer are going to have a worse and worse experience, right? So overall, what we care about is making sure that these brands are able to have much better experiences with their customers. That's the core piece of it.
Yeah, so that anybody that is talking to them on the phone, it gives them the cheat sheet of like, okay, I know all. I just had I got a bunch of IKEA stuff, right, and it was all messed up, probably from shipping, and so I had to get on the live chat to do it. Hung up on me, like the live chat hung up on me. It was like, ooh, we're experiencing bear stuff.
Stuff that's terrible.
And I had to download the chat. I had to copy and paste it. I had to do this 5 times.
Oh, that's the worst. You just got to keep typing.
No, and
then, I've learned to just copy him.
Then they got then they go, oh, we're out of stock. We can't send you replacement stuff. You have to talk to us in 24 hours. I'm like, can't you put me in the queue? Already hung up.
Can you just make a note on your end, maybe?
For a long time, companies believed, and I was taught this for years, that customer service was a cost center. And the goal was to digitize as much of it as possible. And then when you tried to reach them, deflect the inbound and push you into other channels that didn't require humans. And that was the goal. And I think what companies have realized is you can't keep going in that direction, right? All that does is degrades the customer experience so much that in the end, the customer wants to leave. So you have to look at it differently and start saying, what are the moments in which I can invest in the experience for this customer such that when I invest $1, I get $2 back, right? Could they have done something in that moment that had turned you from not just somebody who wanted to do a return, but somebody who for life always bought IKEA or told everybody else in their life that IKEA was the greatest thing ever? Probably, but they missed that opportunity. So, yes, like there are compliance sort of frameworks, and we are the ones that make sure that our customers fit within those compliance frameworks and don't break the law, for sure. And in the end, that's much better for customers because it keeps them from having lots and lots of spam. So yes, we do all that. But more important is this other piece of, again, how do you treat customers like royalty? Rethink what you're doing and think about how the things you're going to do are to increase the customer LTV instead of looking at each customer interaction as a cost center.
Ooh, I like that slogan in there. Treat them like royalty. Regal. I got it. Mm-hmm.
Now you got it. Now you know where the name came from.
Now I get the crown on the lady.
Conferences, we have the crown, the capes, and like there's a step and repeat and the whole thing.
Well, it says you just have a benchmark study. I see this in the announcement bar on the top of your site. It says Regal delivers 547% ROI, which is amazing.
Very girthy.
It tells me we should charge more. That's what it tells me.
I would like to dig into that. But it's one of those things where I've been reading stuff against customer loyalty, that it's overrated in a lot of ways. I would say you're in the pro category of that. To have customers that are loyal and advocate.
It's just you never know which guy has a podcast that's going to go on there and talk about his experience at IKEA. It's just
IKEA's going to tweet you on X now or X you on tweet. I don't know. What is the new
We're going to call it Twitter. We're against
I'm not saying X.
It's too short.
You can't just pick that.
But
like,
do you
it's terrible.
Tweet on X or do you X on X? Like, I don't understand how
we tweet on Twitter.
I knew
and I say that, but we don't ever.
As of a week ago, you could still go to Twitter, and it's still twitter.com. Yep. Still is.
Still, that's terrible.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Yeah. He doesn't care. I mean, that's
obviously
that's like his side piece. Yeah. He has 7 other huge companies he's worried about.
Fucking space.
That's a free speech passion project, I think. But what are your thoughts on customer loyalty and customer advocacy? People talk a lot about marketing sales funnels. They talk about all the way to acquisition. They don't really talk about the after effect. Is what you're doing part of that customer feedback loop that really does increase that loyalty and advocacy of customers for brands?
Yeah, look, we give brands the tools to be able to build those programs, and we do see much higher, sort of retention and customer loyalty. I think beyond what we do, though, I think it's how to put it. The customer expectation around advertising has changed drastically, right? They don't want a big brand just telling them what the brand thinks, right? They don't want the brand coming in saying, hey, buy Target because we're Target, right? They much prefer somebody that is in their social group or friends of a friend, right? So like relatively close to their social group who says, I went to Target. I had this experience. Here's what it meant for me. And, even though that's a paid influencer, all of a sudden that feels much more authentic to the customer and it leads to much better engagement. So I think that shift from a world where advertising just spoke at people to this sort of way of sort of it being more ingrained in your life. It's even, it's an SMS, so it's more personal, right? It's, in Instagram, within, what your friends are doing. I think like that's a big shift, and some brands are doing that well and making sure that they get more people creating user-generated content, Target being one of them that tends to do it well. And other brands are, not taking advantage of it, and, maybe Bud Light being an example of somebody who did it really wrong and it's crushed their business.
Yeah. Well, that one's the funniest to me because they make fun of Anheuser-Busch or InBev for that gaffe, and it's like, then they threw the what was it? The owner of the agency that they hired, and she was like, "I thought this would be like cutting edge," and they're like, "Wow, you've never had a Bud Light in your life. Like, you're not the demo."
Yeah, no, I'm not making a comment about the original campaign. They tried to start engaging with influencers. Then the execution from there led to user-generated content being created against them, and ultimately sales getting crushed. So like they weren't able to control the advocacy of their customer base. And so I think like, these brands that are smart today are shifting from, sometimes it's called shifting from sort of rented media to owned media. They're shifting from a world where you go on LinkedIn and you put it on LinkedIn, LinkedIn chooses who it's shown to a world where I have a direct relationship with X customer and I can get in a conversation with them or show them a video or do whatever in a way that's much more personal and directed, and we can build that relationship together and the advocacy together.
We'll never do rent-to-own media because that's a ripoff.
You never pay that off.
I'm still paying a couch, for 25 years.
30 grand.
Alex, anything else you want to get off your chest before we skedaddle?
No, I mean, I think, best of luck to you guys in your new endeavor and, being the #1 business comedy podcast in the country.
I can't tell if you had a good time or not.
I like that you called it a new endeavor.
Yeah. We're on episode 431.
Yes.
We've been doing this 7 years.
7 plus.
I thought my joke was okay, but it's okay.
No, you're good, man. Appreciate you coming on. Regal.io if you want to check it out. If you want to email him directly, it's a@regal.io or hello@regal.io. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.